Yo, Pepe out here de-escalating war crimes. I mean, I guess for our boy, he was bedridden his whole life, right? One of the most satisfying things an isekai person could probably get, right? Just casually interacted with Satan and just prevented, like, the apocalypse. So, watching this latest episode of Apocalypse Bringer basically confirms to me what would happen if Butters from South Park was thrown into an isekai where he had to interact with Satan. Pepe might be the greatest character I've ever seen. Make sure you drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around your Patrons or catch those full live reactions and exclusives. So, it's a bold choice to introduce these two girls and their emotional backstory, because usually after that you would then focus on them to further flesh them out. And then this show said, nah, we're still going to focus on them, don't worry. Trust the process. But here's Pepe. If you took 100 of his characters, and characters that remind me of him in other series, I almost always don't like them. They annoy me. I think they're out of place, they're jarring. Yet I gotta be 100% real. This is one of the most brilliant things I've seen an isekai do, because a lot of people are gonna forget how this show started. Our MC was bedridden, and as far as we know, that's how he lived his life always. So his comfort was in video games, and, you know, like, he didn't have a normal childhood from what we understand. So the idea of a bundle of joy coming in and saying, let's be friends. It's not like we're chaotic evil. We're lawfully evil. If there's a way to do things peacefully, he'll do it. But if he has to send an army into a town, he will slaughter the whole town if that's the most objective way to get to the solution they need. So a kid coming in saying, hey, wanna be friends? Yeah, blindsides him, but it does a double whammy of, one, he gets almost like that childhood he never did, but two, also he gets the diplomatic side that he needs. And the agreement that they end up making is actually very even. Like, okay, you guys need help protecting, we'll get access to your mine. We'll give you food, you'll give us goods. Like, it's a very even split, and the whole thing about this show is that it goes the diplomatic route and the economic route of things aren't just solved with fists, but rather there's a whole creative inventory system and, you know, world building system that really has me interested. And I mean, the way they ended the last episode, I think it was after the credits where we saw old granny who says she's 250 years old. Goddamn. And then we see our group just aura farming. I was not expecting that to go that direction. And I love how Takuto as an MC, like, literally says, like, without Pepe, this wouldn't have happened. Like, we might have ended this whole thing, in best case, let's see where time goes, let's see how we interact with each other. It wouldn't have been this amount of diplomacy and deals being made. But a kid just being like, I want to be friends. At one point, he, like, exposes, like, because they're talking like, hey, like, we can protect ourselves, it's just, you know, it's a lot going on right now. And he's like, I thought we were screwed. Like, the fact that Otto as a character, she would slaughter your family's generations upon generations upon generations just to make you suffer. And even she was like, I feel for you. He's kind of an idiot. And, like, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking to myself, this isekai can't be real. At every possible turn, it should be generic or what we've seen before, but just these slight deviations. We've had plenty of characters that fit like an evil role or a more chaotic role, but there's something about how because rather than it's just like, we're going to conquer, we're going to, it's just the fact that we put a character inside a game world and he continues to play it like a game. Because usually what happens is like, okay, this is real, but here's these familiar elements from the game. Where for him, it's just like, no, I'm still doing it. Like, okay, there's resource management. I'm building the hospital because it's cheap to make. I'm going to bring this bug queen thing as a servant. She's the most logical. Like, everything about it, it feels like he's still staring at a screen, clicking and managing. It's just now he's physically interacting with everything while also having some actually really nice relationships. So, obviously, you know, a girl gets a little annoyed that he's building a harem, right? Because these two come in and basically do puppy dog eyes. Daddy, we want to do this. And he's like, I can't say no to you. To me personally, even if they end up having strong feelings for him, it feels to me like he looks at it more as like a daughter role. I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't see our boy marrying 15 people, but I feel like if he did that, he would do it for like a logical reason. Like, each marriage gives me something back in return, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there's no denying who his right-hand woman is, and the idea that they encouraged him to go up to her and be like, you know, speak your feelings. I don't know, I appreciate that they're not trying to make pointless fluff drama. Like, even if he didn't do that, she would have been fine in the next episode. We know how these shows play out. But it feels like it's less treating the viewers like they're idiots, but rather rewarding their patience, because a lot of this stuff makes a lot of viewers roll their eyes, where this show is just like, hey, this is just competently written. And while I don't think it's anywhere close to being the best produced show of the season, I do unironically think it's a pretty good looking show. I like the art style. I've seen people say that it's ugly, I've seen people say that it's inconsistent, I've seen people say that they don't think it's bright enough. I don't know. I mean, for the tone and style of show this is, it looks like nothing similar to most anime airing in the past couple of years. The more muted colors add to the, we're not pure evil, but it's also not a super nice area. I don't know, like, everything, it works for me. And, you know, these types of episodes, because it's not super explosive, here's the big death, here's the big shocking yandere face, they get called slow or filler or so many other nonsense. But no, like, this was a 10 out of 10 episode. When the credits started playing, I looked at it and I said, are you sure? This Isekai cheating me? We only got 15 minutes of this? Like, I know my time, but no, it was over because the episode just flew by. And surprisingly, despite how many characters they've introduced in 7 episodes, I don't feel like they're underutilizing them. Like, sure, some have had more dialogue and time to shine, but by all definition, this is the intro still, and I feel like I know them better than I've known some side supporting characters over 2 seasons. This is a good show. It's a top 5 of the season if you ask me, but you know, Butters being one of my favorite South Park characters, that innocence, that you could throw him in any situation, and he might get scared, but he interacts with such innocence and wholesomeness. The idea that Pepe just, like, he kept getting hit over the head, and his whole reaction would just be like, nah, Granny, don't do that, it's fine. Like, the fact that, and I mean this with my full chest, I'm saying this with my full chest, the scene of Takato playing games with Pepe is my favorite thing I've seen in the show. On one hand, it's just funny. Like anyone else, this would have been an act of war. Like, you know, so many bad things could have happened. So it's just hilarious watching them play games. Or the one point, my favorite actual point out of the whole thing, is they have like little weeds, and like whoever snaps, obviously, is the one who loses. And you see Granny in the background, like, shitting bricks. You see Hato just being like, I get why she's scared, but I'm not going to do anything. Because in any other show, some little peasant beating the king would be like, okay, your whole family dies now. But he's just like, he's chilling, he's having fun. It's just, it's great for the humor, but it's also like, it reminds you, this show treats its MC more like an Isekai MC than a lot of Isekai. Because I feel like the core character of him accepting a friend makes so much sense because of where he came from. And that's not something you see every day with these shows, which is, you know, it's not always an issue for me, but it's definitely rewarding when it's here. You let me know what you thought, though, down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around. Your Patreon is, of course, where you catch my full live reactions and exclusives, like I give video shoutouts to my patrons. So today we got Shadow, Askar, Armana, Kev, Joanne, and we also have Devil Make Harder. So I appreciate the support. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.